Off we go. It's the Ryan Hartson Show on the BWC Network, wrapping up our Week 9 NFL preview. We break down all the good games the National Football League just got done with the bad games. So let's get started wrapping this thing up. Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Game is in New Orleans. Josh Freeman is awful. He was awful in London. He's been awful all year except for in fourth quarters. Drew Brees has been bad himself. He's thrown for a lot of yards, thrown a lot of touchdowns, also thrown 10 interceptions in 7 games. Or 8. Have they had their bye yet? I want to say they haven't had their bye yet, so maybe they've played all 8 games so far this year. Either way, he hasn't been efficient enough. And they lost a stinker in St. Louis, which I have no explanation for other than the Cardinals won the World Series the night before, so a little good karma got going in the Rams locker room. That's about all I have for you. But they're coming back home. They're pissed off. Sean Payton should be in crutches on the sideline. And at home, you would feel a little bit better about the Saints just because of the way they react in that Superdome. And the Buccaneers, the Buccaneers are kind of a mess. So we'll see. They're a young mess, though, which means it's fixable. Jets, Bills. Who would have thought this would be a big game? I mean, and the Bills do a really good job. They do a good job running the ball. Ryan Fitzpatrick does a nice job throwing the ball. He's not spectacular. He's not lighting it up. But he's doing a very nice job keeping them in good situations, not turning the ball over, and scoring points, which is important. The defense turns it over a lot. This is a problem, by the way. The Bills' defense turns it over a lot, and Mark Sanchez likes to turn the ball over a lot. He enjoys throwing those interceptions, I think, the way he's going at it. So Sanchez is going to have a hard time against the Bills. And but if the Jets win this game, they're right back in it in the division race. So it's kind of like, what are these teams really? Because the Bills are supposed to be awful, but they're not, and the Jets are supposed to be really good, but they're okay. They're not awful. They're okay. How's Sanchez going to do? Are they going to be able to run the ball? How's the defense going to react? It's in Buffalo. Or is it in Toronto? I don't know. Who cares? Either way, this is a game, if the Bills win, it's another one of those, you add it to in the category of the New England win, where it was kind of, yeah, we're awesome. We did it, man. And that's kind of, where they are. Because, like I said, when they beat the Patriots that week, how do you not say a team that beats the best team in the league, how do you say that team isn't for real, So if you beat the Jets, you're even more for real, and you're like 6-2 or something like that. So now, all of a sudden, they look really, really good, and this team is going to get into the playoffs, and I don't know what's going to happen, but if they have a home game, they could be moving on. My favorite game of the weekend, Packers-Chargers in San Diego. I've been looking forward to this game since the schedule came out. Because it's, as I said, the 2 best quarterbacks under the age of 30, but one of them really isn't because he's not playing as well and the Chargers aren't doing as well, and Ben Roethlisberger has more rings and blah, 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 blah. Either way, these 2 guys are really, really good. Warm weather, great receivers, neither defense is playing very well. This has all the makings of a shootout. And listen, I don't care who wins. Green Bay is 7-0. I know where they're going. I'm not even worried about the game, winning and losing. I just want to see a great football game. A lot of points, a lot of execution, and a lot of just moving the ball, crazy offensive game. That's what I'm hoping for. It's probably going to be closer to a low 30s type of game, but you're hoping for that 45-45 all going into overtime kind of game because that's what the NFL really is all about. So I'm not even sure who I like in the game, but I don't know. It's a really, really interesting matchup. All right, Giants-Patriots. Eli Manning kind of starting to redeem himself. Maybe he is an elite quarterback now. I don't know. Going into New England to play a guy that probably would be considered an elite quarterback in Tom Brady. He's really good. And, he's probably mad about the Pittsburgh loss from last week. They didn't play as well as they could have. They messed up in the fourth quarter. Motivated Tom Brady. Hasn't lost a game at home in 25 years. They're unbelievable at home. The Giants win games they're not supposed to. They play down to the level of competition. Tough road game. Everybody in the media is talking about you and likes you, which means they don't play well. When the Giants are liked by the media, they're a mess. But when everybody in the media hates them, that's when they band together and say, nobody's talking about us, nobody likes us, and then they go out and they win a big game. Everybody is kind of counting them in as opposed to counting them out. So now they're in a place where you almost have to play well to kind of prove everybody right, and the Giants are terrible at that. They're awful at it. So this sets up really well for New England. They're angry, they're motivated, the Giants are being talked about too much, and Eli Manning doesn't handle that well for whatever reason. Remember, they were counted out that entire Super Bowl run. Oh, there's no way they're going to win in Tampa Bay. There's no way they're going to win in Dallas. Okay, they did that, but there's no way they go to Lambeau Field in one of the coldest games in history and win that. Okay, they did that. There's no way they're going to go to, go play way over on the West Coast in Arizona and beat one of the greatest football teams. They won the Super Bowl. Whoops. But when you expect something of them, they're a mess. So I'm kind of hoping with that trend. Gee, I wonder who I'm going to pick. Ravens-Steelers, last big game of the day. The second biggest football game of the weekend. Biggest game in the NFL to date so far this year. Steelers at home, angry, upset, furious that the Ravens kicked them in the teeth at home in week 1. Joe Flacco not playing as well. The defense is really, really good, but had a hard time with Kevin Kolb last week. Come on. We're not sure where the offense is in any way, shape, or form. But the defense, listen, it does all the trends, all the crap that we talk about, just throw it out. This is what you would call a piñata game, where both teams are just going to go out and beat the crap out of each other and see what comes out. A piñata game. And Ravens-Steelers, it's always like that. And it's going to be big time. And it's in prime time. NBC always seems to get this night game for whatever reason. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And, home team's advantage, really. I don't think either team really has a legitimate advantage either way. Roethlisberger's playing better than Flacco. That's one. But for some reason, the quarterbacks don't matter in that matchup. I don't know. It's all very strange. But there you go. Ravens-Steelers. We broke down all the games. Let's pick the games. Seahawks-Cowboys. Cowboys. Romo is really good. The Seahawks are a mess. Cleveland-Houston. Matt Schaub is really good. The Browns are a mess. Atlanta-Indianapolis. Matt Ryan is really good. The Colts are a mess. Miami-Kansas City. Both teams suck. Miami hasn't won a game yet. It's in Kansas City. Chiefs. San Francisco-Washington. San Francisco's really good. Washington is a mess. The 49ers. This might be closer than you think because something tells me Alex Smith is coming back down to earth a little in the way of interceptions. So, and imagine if John Beck gets benched for Rex Grossman. And then you've got Alex Smith and Rex Grossman out there. It'll be an interception fest. That would be something to see, actually. Denver-Oakland. Has no chance in this football game. Raiders at home. Rams-Cardinals. The sacrificial Rams and the Arizona Cardinals who had their wings clipped. Both teams suck. Remember, terrible teams with one elite skill player, and that gets you, to 4-12 every year. So, I'm going to take the Rams just because if Sam Bradford is back in play and I like him better than Kevin Kolb, both teams are awful. Bengals-Titans. I don't care how many games the Bengals win. They're terrible. It's the Bengals. People need to, realize that. I'm going to pick the Bengals in this game because the Titans are just worse. That's just kind of the way it is. Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Saints at home, very, very tough to beat. Josh Freeman is a mess. I'll take the Saints. Jets, Bills. Big road game for the Jets. I don't trust Mark Sanchez. There is something about him I just don't like. I'll take the Bills at home. I think this is the first time I picked I think I pick against the Bills every week, except for this week. Packers, Chargers, my favorite game of the weekend. It's hard to bet against Aaron Rodgers right now. He's the favorite for league MVP halfway through the season. He has only thrown 30 incompletions. He's thrown fewer than 30 incompletions in the last 3 games, which is unbelievable, completing his passes at a clip of 71%. He's been unbelievable. Warm weather, great quarterbacks. Hopefully we're going to have a ton of points. I'll pick Green Bay. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. The exact opposite of Green Bay, San Diego. 2 really, really good defenses in what hopefully is a cold weather game. They're going to beat the snot out of each other for 4 quarters in what I call a piñata game. And Steelers are at home, and I like Roethlisberger better than Flacco. But it's only going to be like a 13-10 ball game. All of them are in that range. I'll take the Steelers. Last but not least, Giants and Patriots. Like I said, and I know they're like 6-2 and whatever, but the picking against Brady and Belichick is like picking against the sun rising. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Brady and Belichick every time. And they're at home against a Giants team that just, when they're talked about, they suck. Patriots. Brady and Belichick, it's going to be really, really close. I'll take the Patriots. There you go. Your Week 9 in the National Football League. And now, coming up next, a few thoughts from the president of BWC, Tim Kursanikis. I'm Ryan Hartson. It's the BWC Network.